Are you burning what could build a life? Sexual energy is not mere appetite, it is molten fuel. Jung called it libido. Artists called it fire. The ancients called it the creative spark. This film teaches you how to stop fleeing from desire and begin alchemizing it, turning urge into work, lust into line, appetite into art. Promise, you will learn 5 ritualized techniques rooted in Jungian practice and strategic discipline to transmute sexual energy into creativity you can wield tonight. Close the door, not metaphorically, physically. Close the door on the room you are in this moment. Let the world make its noise outside. Let it pester the hinges. You will not answer. You will not explain. You will begin by building an inner hearth. Desire is fire. Call it what Jung called it, libido, a current of psychic charge that flows, seeks, and spends itself where the pathway is easiest. Most men are taught to be spendthrifts. They pour their heat into every small pleasure, every message, every petty contest. They mistake motion for life and exhaust themselves trying to prove they exist. This chapter reverses that mistake. It shows you how to treat sexual energy as molten ore, dangerous if untamed, unimaginably valuable if contained and refined. You must learn 3 things, and you must learn them now. First, containment. Second, refinement. Third, direction. Each is a ritual, a deliberate habit that converts impulse into instrument. Today we carve the furnace chamber. We make a place where the ember stays hot and does not burn the hand that holds it. Listen to me. The furnace is not repression. Repression is a poor mason that buries the fire and then pretends the house is warm. The furnace is structure. It is a forged iron chest set within stone. It has vents and valves. It takes heat and gives it shape. Repression kills. Containment preserves potential. Begin with a simple practice. Place your right hand flat over your lower ribs. Feel the rise and fall of your diaphragm. Breathe in slow, counting to 4. Hold for 4. Exhale for 8. Repeat 12 times. Count silently. Name the sensation when it rises. Lust, tension, hunger. Do not soften the name. Do not moralize it. Say it like a label on a tool. This is the first ritual, naming as control. Pause. Breathe out. When you do this, you enact a subtle alchemy. The nervous system shifts from reactive to regulated. The pulse that demanded action, a message, a swipe, a report of yourself, is recontextualized. It becomes energy in suspension rather than movement in response. That suspension is where creativity is born. The complaint you feel in your gut becomes pressure in a piston. It can move work if you bind it. You will meet an antagonist here, the inner servant. He is the shrill voice that insists on immediate proof of life. A notification answered, a provocation met, a desire gratified. The inner servant is cowardly and noisy. He wants reward now because delay is risk. He equates response with worth. This servant must be subordinated. He does not vanish. He obeys rules. Give him small tasks. Teach him the ledger. He will whine. Teach him to wait. Micro Rule A, the hand on the hearth. Whenever urge arrives, place your hand over your lower ribs, breathe 4 to 4, 8, 12 times, and name it. Do not act until you have completed this ritual. This trains the muscle of containment. Containment requires more than breath. It requires anchors, small tactile things that convert heat into attention. Choose one object, a coin, a ring, a smooth pebble. When desire tightens, take the object in your palm. Press it into the skin. Let it burn your attention into the tactile present. The object becomes a ledger. Every time you touch it without acting, you deposit energy. Over days, the object will carry weight. That weight is discipline. Micro pause. Touch your object now if you have one. If not, press your thumb to your sternum, feel the pulse. Name it. Containment without ritual is only willpower, and willpower rusts. Ritual makes the mind believe. It is the language of the unconscious. Men respond to ritual because it tells their deeper machinery how to behave. You are not inventing superstition. You are designing mechanics. The furnace needs valves. The breath is a valve. The coin is a valve. The ledger is a valve. Ledger. Every night for 7 nights write one line, not a diary, not therapy, accounting. Today I withheld X, fold it, keep it in a box. This is the private bank book of your libido. Every entry is proof you did not squander yourself. The next step is refinement. Heat alone does not make steel. Raw sexual impulse is energy, but it is noisy, unfocused, and frequently self-destructive. Refinement is turning that heat into tension that will do work rather than burn you. Distillation alters the physiology of desire. It channels blood, breath, and attention into particular patterns. Practice the distillation breath. Sit, close your eyes, breathe 3 seconds in, hold 12, exhale 6. Visualize the urge as a glowing liquid in your lower belly. With each hold, imagine the liquid becoming thicker, more golden. With each exhale, imagine it pumping upward into your chest and wrists. Repeat for 8 cycles. You will feel a pressure move from stomach to hands. That pressure can be used to paint, to write, to train, to decide. Micro Rule B, the distillation protocol. Do this breath twice per day, morning and dusk, and once more when desire feels like a leak. The breath redirects the charge. Repetition makes it automatic. Refinement also uses inversion. Redirect sensation. When the body demands release, force the mind to perform a minute of close, finite work. For example, take a sheet of paper and draw a single detailed line, a firm, continuous stroke, with your non-dominant hand. Focus only on the texture of the line. This small physical constraint converts rush into focus. The nervous system catches the cadence of restraint and learns to convert speed into form. There is an old secret in the lives of men who create under pressure. They do not annihilate desire, they baptize it into process. The impulse becomes a parenthesis. It starts and it ends with an act of craft. That craft may be writing a sentence, designing a thumbnail, doing 10 heavy squats, or tuning a guitar string until it sings. The act must be finite, fierce, and repeatable. The furnace must also be protected by rules of entry. You will not let every stimulus touch the metal. This means boundaries. It means ritual fasts. Abstain from pornographic imagery for 14 days. Do not sample the web for small thrills. You are not ascetic for asceticism's sake. You are economizing fuel. Scarcity makes energy heavier. When you are allowed to taste, the taste becomes currency. Spend it where it multiplies. Historical aside, Jung described libido not merely as sexual urge, but as the psychic energy that animates creative work. He showed how libido could be transposed, moved from erotic aim to symbol creation. This is not mystical language. It is practical observation. The same arousal that drives you toward a body can drive your hand toward a canvas. It is a shift of aim, not a removal of fire. Expect conflict. The inner servant will invent crises to force immediacy. He will tell you a woman will be lost if you do not text now. He will tell you that missing a like is social death. These narratives are designed to dissolve your furnace into performance. Answer instead with a short ritual sentence. Not now. Say it like a law. Say it aloud once. Then return to your breath. Micro order. Do this now. Choose one small desire that nags you at the moment. A message to send, a search to perform, a fantasy to chase. Place your hand on your ribs. Breathe once, twice, then perform the distillation breath 8 times. Then fold a piece of paper and write a single word, deferred. Put the paper in your pocket. This is the first deposit. Containment and refinement together create tension. Tension is what makes the bow shoot far. But without direction, tension is still noise. Direction is the ritual that chooses where the arrow goes. Decide now where your flame will be spent in the next 72 hours. Be specific. Write one deliverable, a 300-word piece, a 1-hour gym plan, a single painting study. Not 5 things, 1 thing. That focus will be the first target for all the collected heat you will not squander. The rule is simple. 1 furnace, 1 arrow. Micro Rule C, the single target rule. For every week, choose 1 focused output that will receive the majority of your sexual alchemical energy. Protect it. Defend its time window. No multitasking. Rituals are not indulgences. They are contracts with your future self. Make the contract explicit. Each morning stand for 1 minute, face the window and say, "Today I convert." The words are crude, but the unconscious obeys straightforward protocols. It recognizes pattern, repetition, and authority. The more you rehearse the conversion, the less the inner servant will scandalize you. You must also understand failure. The furnace will flare, and sometimes the house will smoke. You will slip. You will feed a craving and feel the slump afterward. This is part of training. Do not punish yourself into neurotic cycles. Instead, perform a clean accounting ritual. Write the misstep on a small card, name the impulse that caused it, and set a corrective micro-action. 10 push-ups, 30 minutes of work, a short apology if real harm was done. Then fold the card and place it in your ledger as an expenditure. Accounting replaces guilt with action. There is power in visible containment. Make small marks that show your discipline. A scratched coin has history. A clean ledger proves practice. Over 30 days you will gather weight. Your chest will feel thicker. Your presence will change. People will notice a different cadence in you. They will complain first and then lean toward you when you speak. That is the psychology at play. Scarcity and ease create attraction, not abundance and panic. Image. Imagine a man in a cold room. He cupped a hot ember in his hands for months, never showing it, never burning himself, always polishing it. One night he takes a chisel and in 1 clean hour carves a sentence into stone that moves a room. The sentence would not exist without the months of holding. The sentence becomes legacy. The ember becomes sculpture. Remember Nietzsche's temper. The will to power is not mere domination of others, but the shaping of oneself. You will use desire to forge work that imposes form upon chaos. This is not denial, this is mastery. Conclude tonight with a precise ritual. Light a candle, hold it near your chest. Breathe the distillation breath 4 times. Name the urge twice. Speak the target for the week aloud, the one deliverable. Then clap your hands once, seal the sound, put the candle out. Sleep without checking your phone. One small promise. If you practice the hand on the hearth, the distillation protocol, and the single target rule for 30 days, you will experience 2 changes. First, the frequency of impulsive expenditure will drop. You will notice fewer sudden combustions. Second, the intensity of your creations will increase. Shorter efforts will bear more weight. This is not metaphor. It is arithmetic of attention. Finish with this image. The furnace is hidden in the belly. It is guarded by stone and bronze. You feed it with ritual, not frenzy. You temper it with breath. You draw the bow from its string and aim once, precisely. The world will feel the difference. Now, one last micro-order. Tonight, place your hand on your lower ribs and breathe the distillation breath 8 times. Then write 1 line. Tonight I convert. Fold it. Keep it under your pillow. In the morning, let the paper be the first ledger entry of a life learned to keep its flame. Lock the furnace's door. Keep the ember alive but hidden. You will not like the mirror at first. It does not flatter. It does not negotiate. It reflects with cruelty. The furnace you built in the first chapter is invisible to the world, but the mirror shows you why it must exist, because without it you are scattered, wasted, fragile. Stand before glass and study the face that looks back. Ask without irony, who spends me? Most men cannot answer. They think they spend themselves, but in truth they are spent, drained by devices, screens, women they never touched, arguments that never mattered, dopamine they never tracked. Their reflection is not a sovereign, it is a debtor. And the debtor always bows. The mirror teaches you confrontation, not the false aggression of yelling or flexing. The deeper confrontation, silence before truth. This silence is unbearable for men who fear their own eyes. That is why so few attempt it. Yet Jung understood. The shadow grows in the places you refuse to inspect. The mirror is the first stage of shadow integration. Here is the ritual. Strip to the waist. No adornments, no music, no posing. Stand before the mirror at dawn or at night, when the world is asleep. Light only 1 candle. Stare into your eyes for 5 minutes. Do not adjust your expression. Do not escape. Every twitch is a confession. Every urge to move is proof of fracture. At minute 3, your mind will rebel. It will throw fragments, memories, faces, judgments. Do not chase them, keep your gaze steady. At minute 5, breathe deep, once and whisper, "I see you," that is all. Blow out the candle. Leave. This is not vanity, this is invocation. The mirror ritual forces the unconscious to meet itself in form. The more you do it, the less you will be able to lie. And a man who does not lie to himself cannot be easily manipulated. Now, let us add the ledger. Next to the furnace's accounting of withheld energy, you will now keep a second column, the reflections. After each mirror ritual, write one word that arose: fear, anger, envy, resolve. Over time, you will build a vocabulary of your own shadow. This vocabulary is power, because what is named cannot ambush you. Understand this: women sense when a man lies to himself. They may not articulate it, but they recoil. The lie smells. It weakens presence. The mirror cleans this smell. It makes the man coherent. And coherence is rare, coherence attracts. Micro Rule D, the mirror. Vow: never skip more than 3 days without the candle ritual. A missed week is decay. Expect resistance. The inner servant will say you look foolish. He will invent errands at dawn. He will argue that 5 minutes wasted in staring could be used for real work. But this is the real work. Every empire collapses when its ruler loses the ability to confront his reflection. You are not here to collapse. You are here to harden. The furnace gives you energy, the mirror gives you form. Without both, you are only heat that leaks into the night. With both, you become a man whose silence is heavier than other men's speeches. And when others look at you, they will not see vanity. They will feel weight. The question is, can you endure 5 minutes of unbroken honesty? That is the second ritual, the mirror. You do not live in freedom. You live in chains, not of iron, not of steel, invisible chains. They bind your wrists every time you reach for the glowing screen. They pull your eyes every time a body bends on a feed. They coil around your spine every time you bow to routine. Work, consume, collapse. Jung called it possession. Not by demons in the medieval sense, but by archetypes and instincts running wild, ungoverned. You are possessed by your urges, by your appetites, by the shadow you refuse to train. And so you leak. Every look, every click, every sigh, every fantasy. It is not free. It costs. Energy leaves you. Energy that could have built muscle, sharpened thought, multiplied wealth. Instead, it is drained, scattered like coins tossed to beggars. You become the beggar, emptying your own chest, feeding a hunger that never stops. The chains are not broken by outrage. Rage is another chain. The chains are broken by seeing them, by naming them. Nietzsche whispered, "He who cannot obey himself will be commanded." Obedience to the shadow makes you a servant. Obedience to your furnace, your mirror, makes you sovereign. Here is the ritual. Tonight, take paper. Write a single list, 5 chains. They may be lust, alcohol, endless scrolling, weak sleep, gossip. You know them. Do not lie. Write them without euphemism. Then, beside each, write the tribute they demand. Hours, attention, seed, energy, flesh. Tomorrow, choose one, not all. One. Break it. How? By vow. Write a vow in blood. Yes, blood. Prick your finger. Let one drop fall on the page. This makes it real. No man breaks lightly a vow written in his own blood. Then destroy the page with flame. Let smoke carry the vow into the air. From that day the chain weakens. But you must keep guard. A chain does not die in silence. It screams. It fights. It tempts with honey. That is when you hold the furnace. That is when you stare into the mirror. Micro Rule E, the chain ledger. For every day you obey the vow, mark one symbol, a single stroke. When you reach 7, burn a second page, a ritual of continuation. When you reach 40, you are free. The inner servant will laugh. He will say, "One drop of blood changes nothing." Yet he fears it. He knows blood is contract. He knows you have shifted from wish to command. Understand, this is not superstition. It is psychology. Your unconscious accepts blood. It recognizes sacrifice. It obeys what it sees written in pain, and if you do not command your unconscious, someone else will. Advertisers, women, politicians, screens, chains. Every king of old bound himself to oaths with ritual. Why should you be less? The man who breaks one chain grows teeth. He bites through the rest. The man who never breaks any dies smiling, while his bones are gnawed by appetites he never ruled. Do not let your furnace feed the chains. Do not let your mirror reflect the slave. Break one, then break another. When the third falls, you will feel something ancient, weight leaving your shoulders. And beneath it, silence. A silence not of emptiness, but of potential. That silence is your throne. Chains broken, the silence descends. But silence alone does not crown you. It is raw space, untamed power. If you stop here, that energy will turn feral, circling in your chest like a wolf without prey. It will consume you from within. This is why the forge exists. The forge is where urge becomes creation, where the restless fire that once drove you to waste is hammered, shaped, and cooled into weapons. Energy withheld is only potential. Energy directed becomes dominion. Jung knew this. He wrote of sublimation, the act of transmuting instinct into art, drive into discipline, lust into logos. But he was not the first. The alchemists of old hid this truth in symbols: the furnace, the vessel, the philosopher's stone. All metaphors for a single act, mastery over impulse. The forge is not metaphor, it is daily practice. Here is the ritual. At dawn, when the body is full of withheld force, sit at a table. No distraction. Before you lies one task, not 10, not a swarm of projects. One. It may be the body, iron lifted, sweat poured. It may be the mind, words written, plans carved. It may be wealth, numbers, contracts, construction, but it must be singular. The forge does not scatter sparks. It channels them into one beam. For 30 minutes, strike. Strike as the blacksmith strikes iron. No pause, no wandering. Each strike is a sentence, a rep, a calculation. At minute 30, stop. The ritual ends. You may continue if you wish, but those 30 minutes are sacred. They are the transformation window. Repeat tomorrow. Micro Rule F, the forge law. Never skip 2 consecutive days. Miss 1, but not 2. Break this, and the wolf returns. Understand, creativity is not soft. It is violent. It is the same energy that once demanded release in flesh. Now you force it through fire, hammer, form. You beat it until it bends into something that serves you. A book, a body, a business, a plan. That is the forge. The inner servant will protest. He will whisper, "Later, tomorrow, you are tired. One day missed is nothing." Crush him. This is the voice of rust. The forge exists to burn rust into dust. Nietzsche wrote of the hammer, not as destruction, but as testing idols to see if they ring hollow. Every day you strike in the forge, you strike your own weakness. You listen to the ring. You harden where it bends. The chains were broken by blood. The forge is sealed by sweat. Blood and sweat. This is the alchemy. Soon you will notice, 30 minutes in the forge create a residue, a hum beneath the skin. Women feel it. Men sense it. It is not bragging. It is presence. A man who creates daily emits a different frequency. He does not chase. He attracts orbit. He is the anvil in the storm. And when temptation returns, as it always does, you will not merely resist. You will laugh, because you know where that energy belongs. Not on the floor, not on a screen, but on the iron, the word, the empire. Micro Rule G, the forge. Mark. When the task is complete, mark a line on a hidden wall, not for display, for record. 1 mark per day. After 50, you will see a pattern, the silent monument of your own persistence. This is how men once built cathedrals, how generals wrote campaigns, how thinkers carved books into eternity. They were not different from you. They simply forged instead of leaking. The forge is not optional. It is the crown. Without it, the furnace is wasted. The mirror is vanity. The chains return. With it, the man becomes weapon. So strike. Daily. Ruthlessly. without apology. The hammer does not ask permission. The journey ends here, not in the shadows where you began, not in the silence where you trembled, but upon the height where few dare to climb, the crown. The crown is not given. It is not inherited. It is not a trinket of gold resting on your skull. It is invisible, yet every man and woman around you will feel its weight. The crown is the ultimate state of sublimation, desire transfigured into command, hunger reborn as gravity, lust refined into sovereignty. When you wear it, you no longer chase. You no longer beg. You no longer spill your force on the floor like the masses. You radiate. The energy that once made you weak now surrounds you as an aura. You are the center of orbit, but the crown is not stable. It must be forged daily. If you fail the furnace, if you ignore the mirror, if you break the silence, the crown will slip. You will fall, and the fall is cruel. Men who wear the crown and lose it become empty husks. Their shadow devours them. Do not let this be you, the antagonists still whisper. Society mocks the solitary. The servant inside you longs for comfort. The shadow tempts you with the memory of release, but now you rule them. They are subjects, not masters. You sit on the throne. Micro-rule H, the royal law. Guard your energy as a king guards his citadel. Do not squander it on trivial battles, cheap pleasures, hollow victories. Every act of waste is a crack in the crown. Every act of discipline polishes its shine. Micro-rule I, the crown stance. Wherever you stand, plant your feet as if rooted in stone. Breathe slow, speak less. Let silence do the speaking for you. A king does not hurry. He commands by presence. Think of Alexander at 20, Caesar in his prime, Jung with his manuscripts. They all bore the crown, whether visible or not. Power was not in their titles, but in their containment, their command of inner storms. This is what women sense but cannot name. Why they orbit men who need not chase. Why respect bends unconsciously toward the man who governs himself before he governs others. The crown makes you untouchable because it is not costume, it is essence. Here is the final image, a throne in a dark hall. You sit upon it, alone. Above, a single crown floats, not placed but hovering. It does not rest on your head. It emanates from your chest. Each day in the furnace strengthens its glow. Each silence makes it sharper. Each mirror polishes its edge. The crown does not weigh you down, it draws the world in. This is the alchemy complete. Urge into energy, energy into creation, creation into sovereignty. The wolf tamed, the servant silenced, the shadow bound. Now you reign. Do not bow, do not explain. Simply wear the crown.